Hi guys, and welcome to Talkin Story with Maitreya and Komplete. And today's topic of conversation is how do I detach from another person's perception of me? But before we dive into today's theme, Komplete is going to open up the space with meditation. So take it away, Komplete.
Okay, so welcome everybody. Thank you, Maitreya. Welcome to this space. And today, or this evening, or good evening, wherever you are, because of different time zones, I wanted to say I'm going to do a meditation with a prayer. So if we just focus in on your breath or our breath, just breathe deep into our bellies, center ourselves. Another deep breath in. And center ourselves in our hearts as I read this prayer. May love pour through our souls. May light flower in our hearts. May warmth radiate our bellies. May purity shimmer in our bones. May kindness resound in our voice. May clarity shine through our mind. May solace abound in our lives, touching all who we meet. May solace abound in the world, bringing all beings into perfect union. As we feel into that perfect union, let us set our intentions now to receive, to be open, and to share a loving energy. It is well. Over to you.
Thank you, Komplete. And welcome everyone to today's installment of Talkin Story. And this is a question that was posed to you, Komplete, and we thought we would delve into it. It's super interesting. How do I detach from another person's perception of me? Um, so yeah, how would you interpret? Well, there's so much in that because there's, the questions for me is like, what is perception, um, and why would it be important to detach from another person's perspective? Yeah, could you speak into that before I delve into it?
Right. So speaking to the question or into perception?
Uh, well, let's
Because
start with the question
I'd
and
like to
or
dive
both.
into,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
so the person asked me the question with regards to how do they um, detach themselves from a negative point of view. So someone may think negative of them because maybe they've known them to be a certain way. Maybe when they're growing up or know them in a certain environment. And because they've changed or worked on themselves or they've got dreams and aspirations that they are leaning into, the person may be discounting their ability. But as I was saying earlier to you, is that that could work both ways. It could be someone has more faith in you than you have in yourself. So their perception of you is that you can achieve big and beautiful things. but in your self-belief is limiting you and telling you otherwise. You don't feel worthy, or you don't feel that you can achieve that thing. So again, perception is the root word, I suppose, the root word, the overarching theme. What is perception? What is the other person's perception? What is your perception? What does it mean in totality?
Mm. Okay.
Mm.
So you're saying that it could be positive or negative,
Yes.
and then
The other
that in
person's
itself is a
perception.
perception, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because how do you receive whether something's positive or negative also is a perception.
Mm, mm,
uh
mm.
yeah, look, I can relate to this as well. I think what comes for me is um family, like being seen a certain way by my family, through the ways that they identify me as, which is, like, um, I'm Sri Lankan. I need to follow certain traditions, and or maybe that's expected of me. Um, that I am a son. I'm a child. In a parent's eyes, you'll that's how parents can uh, see their children, rather than actually holding them to their highest element, um, according to their own evolution or growth. So yeah, that can be hard, because like if you have strong ties with people in your life that hold you to a certain perception, and you feel that perception, because of the ties you're having with individuals, is holding you back, that can actually pose a problem. And um, what what needs to happen in that scenario is actually to be able to discern, what's actually happening, and then do what's right for yourself,
Mhm.
in the most healthy way possible. Uh, so yeah, just wanted to share that, and also acknowledge someone on Facebook who's just commented, lots of love to you, brother. Um, yeah, complete. What do you? Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Again, when we talk about um, our perception, or how we've been brought up, so what is our frame of reference? Yeah, so our frame of reference is depending on our culture, as you say, what our family beliefs and traditions are, and it can have an impact. And what often happens within a family, when an individual goes against that grain, they're seen as the outsider, or what you call the black sheep, or the rebel wanting to do something else. If if we take religion for instance, um, and you've always done something a certain way, and there's always been an expectations that you would follow that path, but then you decide that you want to be a spiritual person rather than going down the lines of this certain religion, then that's
Mm,
where the conflict comes in. But would we not see that as being having a more open perception, or knowledge or vision of the world as the overview, rather than having um, a blinkered view through whatever that culture or tradition is? Is that,
right.
yeah?
Yeah. Uh,
I
yeah.
would say, oh yeah, I would say growing up then as a Christian, there's certain things that you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to adhere to, and you can't do that. You can't think that. You can't be into certain meditations. You can't rely on talismans and different things like that under a certain perception. But yet, prayer is meditation. I believe, but prayer is meditation. Just like I've opened up with that prayer. People wear a cross around their neck as a sign of protection, or do you know what I mean? So again, going back to what are you perceiving? What are you actually believing in? What aligns and connects with you?
Yeah. 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 So that's I think a lot of people, all of us, experience that in some way. I guess, even take perception, the word, take that out of it, and let's just say belief system, or just the way that you see things in your life. If it's not aligned with people that you're connected to, and whether both ways of seeing things, being, experiencing things, or believing in things, whether they can harmoniously coexist together. I guess that's really the problem of the world. Is, can we actually do that? So even what's happening in our personal lives is also reflective of the greater consciousness. Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say my answer to the client was to be yourself, to when you know who you are, in that, so that unconditional belief and trust in your choices, how you want to show up in the world, then that's how you detach from what that person's perception is. You don't need to fulfill their expectations of you, because you are fulfilling your own. You are standing aside and standing in your truth. Yeah.
I think it's
And
self-belief, isn't it?
self-belief. Yeah.
It's like standing up for everything that you know to be true for you. Yeah.
So the question would be, how then, if you've, so what happens when the fear and obligation take you away from your path, or from your soul mission or life purpose, or what you believe or see to be true? How do we deal with that? The fear and being
Yeah.
obligated.
I think it really takes a lot of deep introspection to really ask yourself that honest question, and have the bravery to confront it. It's really confronting yourself, is what you know to be true. And what I've found is, when something is confronting in my mind to face off with, the tendency is avoidance, pretending like it'll go away. I don't need to, like, I can just continue doing what I'm doing in a certain way, and it'll work itself out. But from my personal experience, it doesn't go away. Whatever is, is there, will remain there unless you actually give it its attention that it deserves. So yeah, I would say that the first point of call is actually to really ask oneself the question, am I really being honest with myself? And then once you are honest with yourself, and you know what is true for you, is then to implement that into action, which is the second step, which is the second step of bravery, is like, I know this to be true. now I have to speak this out into reality. Now I need to have that uncomfortable conversation, or I need to do something that might ruffle people's feathers, or it might not align with everyone, but that's okay because I've now reconciled with myself that this is what I stand for, and I can't budge an inch but for what I know to be true for myself. Because that's ultimately, that is the truth, is that even each of us are actually not the same. Each of us are born here with a different element, a different expression of thinking, of energy, of spirit. And so, what we tend to do is we conform to what other people's beliefs are, because we think that maybe my belief, my way of being is not correct. But ultimately, what makes this world colorful is that, each of us, each of us should be honoring the expression we were born with. And only you can know what that is. And the only way to get there is actually through honesty with oneself. And the more honest you can be, the more that expression actually comes out, rather than actually, the expression of conforming, of conformance. I don't know if that's a word.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I would say, and when we can do that, we then are in flow. It is easy. We always talk about being in flow. We don't have to wear a
Mm-hmm.
mask. We don't have to, how often have we been in situations where we're feeling the fear of maybe hurting someone's feelings or feeling obligated to that situation, and then it then becomes uncomfortable, you know. Like I was saying to you earlier, it becomes like a bad smell, a bit of resentment and all that stuff comes in because we're not communicating, and
Yeah.
we're not being truthful to ourselves. So in other words, we're not being truthful to the other person or even to the situation, because of fear, and maybe because of obligation, or even maybe because of love. Maybe
Mm.
because of love. Can you imagine, how many times have people, because they love someone so deeply, they don't want to hurt them, so they don't speak their truth,
Yeah.
and then that love then becomes embittered, and it becomes that resentment. It becomes then, it's still inevitable
Mm-hmm.
because it still ends badly
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
sadly
We
and
think it's not going to go.
and
Yeah.
oh, yeah,
Yeah. No, I was going to say, like, we think
yeah,
it's not going to, it's going to go away, or it's going to sort itself out, but it doesn't until we actually, give it its due respect.
mm,
Really speaking into whatever that is. Um, yeah, and like, this conversation itself, I find, is also something that a lot of people are facing off with, in terms of, um, like the choice. What choice do I make for my life? Because
mm,
if it's true, that if I know what's true for me, that, you know, sometimes to follow your own inner truth may come in conflict with
mm,
another's truth, and there are
mm,
so many levels to what that that can be. And what I'm speaking into here is, the imposition of control, or certain laws, or governmental forces, or the powers that be. And that ultimately, when you really go down this path of seeking the truth within, um, that's ultimately, where you come to a crossroads with, is, well, now I can see this. Now what choice do I make? This is really a test.
Mm.
um, and yeah, and that's where the world is actually facing off. Like we see that right now. We see that there are different belief systems playing out. Uh, that is, what's right, what's wrong, what's, like for me, what's right for me personally is what is right for me will always be, no matter what. But for another, that may not be acceptable either, and
Mm.
so there's, so yeah, we're really in this hotbed of really negotiating, ultimately, yeah, honesty. And sometimes it's a hard truth. It's a hard truth to, and I'm just speaking here from my own lens of the world. It's hard to accept that perhaps there are corrupt systems at play, or perhaps there are individuals, people that are controlling the world, that are influencing certain things to take place. And rather than actually ask the question and have the courage to speak my truth and stand up for my own rights, or whatever feels right for me, I would rather ignore that and pretend like that's not true. And, things just like in history in the past will work itself out. Um, so it's really interesting to see all of these things happening. And I think that, we're actually quite blessed to be in this period of time, to be seeing what's taking place, because also when these things are playing out in the world, a lot of people have this doom and gloom perspective. They see these things and they think, oh, it's the end of the world, or what's going on, I can't believe but generally what happens whenever something shakes up in your world, um, it's a sign that things are about to change, and change is always good, because you don't always want the same thing playing out in your life all the time. You'll get bored. Um, that's really the nature of life and creation. It's constantly changing. We're having different experiences, and this is a totally new experience, and it's not just happening in our personal lives, but we're actually seeing this play out on the planet, like on a global scale. We're seeing this play out, so this is huge. This is like, wow. Like, and once you start to see that, you actually feel quite blessed to be here right now, and to be part of this. And then you got to ask the question, well, I'm seeing all of these things play out. What do I choose to make a stand for, and be a participant, a citizen of this world?
Awesome. Right. No, I agree with you. And I'm going to take you back to the point where you said, um, you know, what you're saying, put your head in the sand and history will play out. Yeah. And it will all work itself out. But history is formed because, or parts of history and the changes are formed because of those people who have decided to have that courageous conversation, to make that courageous
Oh,
choice,
yes,
and
yes,
to say
absolutely.
they want to create change. Yeah, so it's so there may be people that will be on the sidelines because of fear and not wanting to stand out and to be seen as different. But then there's going to be
Wow.
others who are going to
Yeah.
push. They're going to push and push and push, and then change history and and affect the world. Hopefully, as you say, things are happening. It's going to affect the world in a positive way. So there's going to be like a new collective of people coming together, of expanded awareness, expanded love, and connection in a positive way. In all circumstances, there's always casualties. There's always those people who regret, who say, "I wish I had been part of that." Um, Yeah. Or wish I hadn't been part of that, depending on what side you're on. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
again, it is about choice. The big thing is about choice, and what you stand for, and how you want to be, how you want to show up in the world. Wow.
It's interesting that we're even having this conversation, because I do feel like every time that we have a conversation, it's very reflective of what's actually happening for people in the space, or just happening to people in
Mm,
general, and what's happening on the planet. Um,
mm,
yeah, and like every day is a new day. Every day just keeps just some new development in my personal life, and also in the world. It's everything's constantly changing. um so yeah, it's just so intriguing. It's almost like watching a movie, except I'm in the movie.
mm,
um
mm.
yeah,
And you write the script because you're the author, right? So then again, it goes back to your choices, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions. You are writing your own script.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, we yeah, exactly, we're writing our own scripts. um
And sometimes it doesn't. We have to edit it either, doesn't it? When more information comes through, or you see something in a different light, you may want to edit your script.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a constant refining process of making
Mm,
choices, and then looking back, reflecting, seeing what served me, or what where I went wrong there, and just pivoting. um, and yeah, it's just a constant refining, or growth, to be a higher or a better human being. um, and
mm,
actually, that's what's being called upon everyone, is to aspire to be the best version of themselves. Why not? Like, why not? We're living here, we're experiencing life. Why not aspire? Even if the whole world seems to be falling apart, why not aspire to be the best version of yourself? Even when's the best time to do that? Well, why not now? Like,
now,
this would be the
now.
best time to do
Well, hang
that.
on a
Yeah.
second. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Let me tell you when. Now. You know,
Right.
there's always a new now, right? Now.
You're right.
That's me.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
that's me playing with you. That's
That's
me
some
playing with you.
banter. This is British banter. Um, so, so I love British banter. Like, as it's actually quite like, yeah, British humor is interesting. Like, whenever I have been in London and be in a taxi cab, and it's just it's a very unique way of expression, for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
um yeah, it's what got that's what
Yeah.
makes you guys special. um
You. Thank
so
you. Thank you.
yeah, yeah, no worries. I'm just trying to I can't even do it. I used to study with mates from the UK, and they would teach me about British banter, and I was like, I don't get it. And it's like, no, it's banter. It's just banter.
Yeah. 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 It's a mix of sarcasm and reality. I think that's it's
Yes,
the fine line
yeah,
between sarcasm and reality. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. No,
And
it's,
not
it's
taking life so
awesome.
serious.
No,
You know what I
but you
mean?
know what? Like,
Not
that's
taking
that.
life.
Like, yeah. I used to spend some time in Ilford, East
Okay.
London, and it's just really
Yeah. Over
interesting.
east. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just interesting. Like, because I'm always observing different cultures and why people are a certain way, right? And um, yeah, I feel like banter, like it's a way of expressing a hard knock life. That's what I saw in East London. Is like it's really a hard grind, you know, to get by in life, and and it's just a way of releasing, you know, a way of seeing a light in the tunnel, you know. Um, you know, and UK is also like a, you know, there are chakra points in the world. I don't know how accurate this is, but this is what I find so fascinating, is because like when I was in London, it's like people are very like, it almost feels like, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but it feels like people are usually closed. Like they don't want to express themselves so much, not from their heart. You know, it's like they block something off, right? And what's interesting about that is the complete polarity of that is that the UK is actually the heart center of the world. It's actually the heart chakra point of the world. Like, you know, there are chakra centers in the body, right? And there
Is
are
it?
also
I
chakra
didn't even
centers on
know
the
that.
planet. And yeah. So it's really interesting because I was like, well, how could that be? And it's like,
Yeah.
well, you know, like to express your heart, you know, means you have to really break it open. And if you want to break open the heart of the planet, I don't know, this is just a thought. But this is what I was thinking when I was there. I was like, wow, there's a reason
Imagine
for
people watching
everything, you
back
know.
on this going to do their research. Yeah.
Well, the states has another chakra center, Mount Helena. I think Saint Helena. So, you know, the heart chakra center in the UK, I think it's it's connected to the um oh, what's it called? It's like the Stonehenge. What's that place called near
Oh right.
Stonehenge?
Okay. Yeah, Stonehenge. Yeah.
There's a place
Stonehenge.
next to it. Can't remember the name,
Okay.
but
Now you're pushing me.
if,
Now you're pushing me.
but yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I mean,
Oh, I
yeah.
know.
If you really,
You mean you talking about Glastonbury?
that's the
Is that
one.
you?
Yeah. So
Am I
that's meant to be.
Yeah.
That's meant to be like that's meant to be a heart chakra center of the planet. Is meant to be. I don't know. Like, you know, the information I'm getting. This is stuff that over the years I've just like you come across. But yeah, there are actually chakra centers on the planet. Bali is another one. Australia, like Uluru, which is also known as Ayers Rock. You know, there's this red rock in the center of Australia, and that's the heart. That's the solar plexus chakra, center of creation.
Oh,
That
okay.
is really interesting because if you come to Australia and like it actually feels like the land in Australia is so raw. It actually feels like creation. So it's really interesting. Like when you really tune into uh, vibration, and I realize we're sort of diving. This is my perception, so I'm just sharing my perception here. But you know, like they're different. I'm just curious for the Americans. Let's find out what the. I'm just going to go on Google search, find out what the
I was just about
chakra
to do that. I was just doing it myself.
center of America. Saint Helena. Uh, what chakra centers of the planet? So there's or Mount Shasta. I think that's what it's called, Mount Shasta, perhaps.
Okay.
Earth. Um. Okay, bear with me. Okay, so yeah, I don't know how we got onto this, but I'm just gonna go with the flow here. So
I would say we've got onto it because it's about knowing. It's no, you know, when we're looking at the chakras, and especially the
uh-huh.
base chakra is about our security, and then our emotions, and then our determination, our immune system, and all those things. It's about knowing self. I think I know the chakras are important. So, where's your heart? As you said, to open up the heart is to break it open, and then also to have so your throat chakra is your power to speak your truth. So it all aligns, yeah, and then so on and so on and so on. So yeah,
Okay, so I'm going to
I'm looking.
go through each of these chakras here. So the first chakra is in Mount Shasta in California, which is the root chakra. It's known as the root chakra of the planet. So this is for me actually. Like I want to break this down to really understand this. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it's known as what is the if to your understanding what is the root chakra? What does the root chakra represent?
The root chakra is your stability, your foundation, your security. So if you're off balance, I
Yeah.
do have a book that tells you. Yeah, if you're off balance, that means you're feeling insecure. It may be you're not feeling
Oh wow.
safe.
So what's the
You're not feeling
polarity of
safe.
insecurity? What's the polarity of insecurity? It's confidence. It's I need to be the best. I, right? And
Yes.
who's the best in the world at everything? Or who
And
needs
who's
to be the
that?
best?
Me. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh my God, I really received that compliment.
Well, like I guess I don't know. The
That's
way
my
that
that's my perception, right?
well, my perception of America is that they're the leaders, or they like to be as a country. The energy there
Mm-hmm.
is one of being the best, being at the top. So the fact that you say that the root chakra is when you're off balance and being grounded, would you say,
Mm-hmm.
or being secure?
Yeah. Being
That's
secure.
really interesting. That
So
is that is
when you're off balance, when you're off balance, you're insecure. You have
when
fear.
you're
You've
off
got fear.
balance.
You're
Yeah, yeah,
fearful.
yeah. Right. Okay, so that's really interesting. Food for thought. Um, I can't speak on this one. The second one is the sexual chakra. And
Yeah,
this
which
is
is your deep emotion.
deep
Your
emotions.
deep emotion. Mm-hmm. So your
Deep
sexual drive, your passion. Yeah.
sexual drive, passion. Right, right. Okay, so that center is in Bolivia, Peru, Bolivia. It's a place called Lake Titicaca. It's also a
Okay.
place where
Wow.
there's this being known as Thoth, is known to have, after the fall of Atlantis, Thoth was known to have um, spent some time in that location. But Peru is actually quite a well-known place for spiritual awakenings. Um, a lot
And
of
that's where
lot of
people go
people,
to do it.
lots
Yeah.
of people go there. I definitely need to go there myself. So it's interesting how that so passion. So when you go there, there's something. So it'd be interesting. I don't know much about Peru and Bolivia, so I can't. Maybe if anyone's watching and you've been to Peru, please share your experiences with us. The third
I'm
chakra
going to take a
is.
Let me just take you back a bit. So this gives you
Uh-huh.
this. So when I was saying I've got a book here, so the base
Yeah.
chakra reflects our relationship with our physical body and with the material world. It grounds us in physical existence, allowing all our needs to be met. When balanced, its energy enables us to blend the physical and the spiritual, eliminating that which is no longer for growth. Yeah.
Okay, that's the base.
That's the base chakra. Yeah.
The root chakra.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, so this would the reason why this sharing this might be important, or maybe helpful for you is like there's energetics in everything, and every country is actually going through its own karmic development, or it's going through its own lessons. And so, like I live in Australia, the way of life in Australia is totally different to how it would be in Europe or how it would be in America, and vice versa. So if you, for example, you live in America, there are things that you're experiencing that a lot of people outside of the States, it would be completely foreign to them. I mean, being the operative word, but be completely different to their experience. And this thing about energetics is it's a real thing. Like there's a reason why we're all born into certain locations on the planet. And like when we're doing this inner work, so say for example, you live in the States, and you're seeing all of these things play. There's a lot of things that have happened in the States right in the last year, and these things, whatever's happening externally, is going to affect your personal life as well. And when you deal with your personal life scenarios, you're also healing the collective space as well of the country. So there's a lot that's going on. So having this background, knowledge about this phenomenon, that there are actually energy centers, just like there's energy centers in the body. It's actually, it's actually quite a powerful thing. So you just shared about the base chakra. Then we went into the sexual chakra, also known as the sacral chakra. Have you got any information on that?
So so hold on a second. Okay, so the solar. Here we go. What's they got written here? Right. So that one is, so you're talking about sacral or the solar plexus?
The sacral, because you didn't read that one.
So so that's about your enthusiasm, being sociable, how you feel about yourself, and when you're out of balance, you become proud and destructive, and you become like you're not sure about who you are and how you fit into this world. Yeah.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It doesn't, because I'm not familiar with the energetics of that country or that center. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to relate the culture of a country to to that chakra center.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Well, if you're not living in that
it's hard. Yeah.
Or in that construct, or in that perceived culture, what they perceive, then you're not going to be able to see it from their point of view. And even if you're visiting as a foreigner, you may only see certain aspects. You don't know unless you kind of stay there for months on end and actually immerse yourself in a certain culture. Yeah, you wouldn't realize, the fullness of that place or the people. So we could go. So, for instance, let me give an example. You could go to a country that's based on tourism, and they then meet your needs as a tourist, but you don't actually really experience the heart, or the heart of the people, until you actually go into maybe the suburbs that you know, and to be one of the natives, to go into their homes rather than being in a hotel and seeing what you want to receive, what you're used to receiving. So I'll give you an example. In my as a teenager, I used to go to Spain, and I remember they had a strip in this particular Tenerife, and it was full of British shops. Yeah, so you had the British fish and chips, you had the British this, you know what I mean. All of the culture was there in that strip, but we didn't actually experience Spanish living and Spanish food until we came out of that strip and say we want to seek the truth of what the Spanish, or you know what I mean, what really is behind everything.
Right.
Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
That is
So you
that's
could
a.
be in a place,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. You could be in a place and you just experience what you want to experience because you're going to somewhere that's familiar, rather than going to experience difference and change by going into the community, so to speak. You stay in the
Yeah.
tourist
Right.
area because you
Yeah. Right. That's what a
seek.
lot of people do. Yeah. Right,
Mm,
right. Yeah, I mean that's the reason why I love to travel is yeah, it's not I actually don't have much interest in tourism, like seeing all of the oh well, whilst that's amazing, like it would be amazing to go to Egypt and see the pyramids and things like that, because there would be an energetics to it, but it was really actually like it's everywhere. Like, the fact
mm,
that you step into another not even in another country, like even within your own country, like even I'll notice like
mm,
going into a certain part of town will be have a different energetics to it. you know it would make sense because it's just the way people are, the way that they think is an expression of their energy. And um and so that is also like that can be a community. And it's just really interesting, like there's just all of these different expressions, both individually and collectively. It's again, it's like coming full circle. It's a melting pot of the universe, that we're living in on the planet Earth. Um, mm, yeah.
So let's
So
go back to the question is, how do I what? How do I
how do I detach from another? Yeah, we did get off track. How do I
detach that?
detach from another person's perception of me? Um, yeah, and I guess we can tie this up here. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, I suppose we've discussed how it's what ways you can implement to make healthy, honest decisions for oneself. Um, and yeah, I'll reiterate this. It's honesty of
Mm,
of of oneself. It's like, what am I thinking? What am I believing in this moment? And is it true for me? Um, and and then um, making the choice of backing oneself, and that you could also say is your intuition too, or your heart. And it always wins. Your heart always wins. It is the driving force of everything. Even before your thoughts and actions, it's your heart. Your heart is the center point of your existence.
yeah.
Um,
I can I add to that then? Can I say, so what
mhm.
I would say then, yes, your heart, and standing in your truth. And when you stand in your truth without judgment, yeah, so it's unconditional. So you're not judging yourself, you're not judging anyone else for what their truth is to them. you allow them to be then to meet you in the middle and to be true. They can be true for themselves. You can talk about
Right.
it, you can discuss it.
Absolutely.
And again,
Yeah.
it's getting, yeah. So it's about meeting the minds, meeting of perspectives, without agenda, without forcing your
Mm.
opinion on someone else, and being able to speak your truth and also hear the other person's truth.
This is like what we're discussing here. This is mastery. It's mastering oneself. Um,
Mm, mm,
it's really, yeah, it's everything that you're speaking, that you spoke on just then. It's what it generates in oneself is a sense of freedom. Like because ultimately that's what you want. You don't want to be a slave to your thoughts. Even
mm,
even the whenever we have judgments towards things or certain, because that even perception can also be a judgment. Like, I believe that my way is right, and this is the way that it needs to look. And that, that is actually, it can be a source of suffering to indulge in that, in thought, in that thought. um so when one can untangle themselves from all of these different thoughts or points of perception, um, you then become free to coexist and not be threatened by anyone, but to really harmonize oneself with another. And this conversation in itself, if you're watching this, is a perfect example of that. It's
mm.
yeah.
The statement or the quote that comes to mind, which I love, Bruce Lee, be as water.
Fears water.
Yeah, like flow. I think that's how
I'm,
it goes.
I'm
But
no,
you are
I'm
to just
laughing.
flow.
Yeah. Absolutely. Be as water as flow.
Yeah,
So
just flow.
I
Just
was
flow.
laughing because I posted something about water yesterday, and it was, but not fluoride
Did
water,
you?
something like that.
Say that again.
But yeah, be one as flow with water, but not fluoride water, and it's a bad joke.
Okay,
Uh,
okay. I didn't get it.
yeah.
Oh well, there you go. It's 55, 9:50. Well, nine
Yeah,
fifty-five for me here. What time is it there for you?
it's in the morning, 6:55. So yeah, let's
Okay.
do you feel complete?
Yeah,
Do you
I
feel
do.
yeah? Okay,
I
so
do.
yeah, I feel complete as well. And we hope that you feel complete. And if you have
And
any,
anybody watching, they can go. Yeah, I was gonna say if anybody watching, because we didn't go through the rest of the chakras, they can actually either put in the chat
you know what, I'll
what
post
they
a
find.
link. Yeah, and I'll post a link. There's something that I came across. You guys can check that out. Um, yeah, it just shows you the different chakras of the planet. It is super interesting. We would have to talk hours on end to really explore that. Uh,
Oh,
but yeah, there's if you guys have any questions, any comments, yeah, please DM us or message on here on the feed. And yeah, and I would like to invite you guys, if you have any things pertaining, any questions you'd like to ask, again, shoot them as well. Or you need support in any way, because we all need support. Yeah, please reach out. And I think I'll leave it at that. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
Not really.
Okay,
Well,
cool.
what I will say
Yeah.
is that I balance myself. I balance myself every morning, and so the balance was in the sacral chakra. That's why I'm wearing orange.
Right.
And I have my chameleon stone.
Yeah.
Just saying. So it's about my passion and my purpose, and and how I'm feeling with the emotions.
Yeah.
And a bit of yellow for the drive and determination in the solar plexus.
Yeah.
And green is for love of the heart. Hey, we can go all out.
And what's white? Before we end this, what's white?
So white is the crown. So how you connect spiritually to
right.
source, infinite. Yeah. So
That makes
like
total sense. That actually makes total sense for me. It does, because I love to live in the ether. I love to be tuned into. Yeah, it's the conversations are always going.
Like a gold, iridescent color, white. You know what I mean? Sometimes even a bright pink. Yeah. Don't want to see you with bright pink lipstick though.
No, that's yeah. I don't know. I can't predict the future. Anything's possible in this quantum reality soup that we're living in. Let's complete this session. And sorry, I have to throw that in again. Love you guys, and blessings, and have an amazing day where you are. Yeah, till next time.
Okay.